Welcome back to my channel, Millions of Dollars. That's the kind of number collectors mention only when a coin is so rare, so historically unusual, or so impossibly mint-errored that it almost feels unreal. And today we're looking at a coin that appears incredibly ordinary, the Spanish 100 pesetas from 1999. Yet coins from this exact series, under extremely rare and very specific circumstances, have entered valuation discussions that reach the million-dollar zone. Not because your regular piece is secretly worth that much, and not because this circulating coin hides a fortune, but because patterns, prototypes, and lost experimental strikes from this era have proven that even simple base metal coins can become priceless when they exist in a one-of-one form. When a coin transforms from common currency into only surviving experimental artifact, its value no longer follows normal logic. At that level, rarity becomes everything, and rarity has no upper limit. Before we go deeper, let's keep the foundation honest and clear. Your standard 1999 coin is not a million-dollar item. What we're doing is understanding why this coin series attracts intense collector interest, how a coin from this period could theoretically reach extremely high valuations, and what real historical factors from Spain's transition period make this denomination fascinating. Because when Spain moved from the peseta to the euro, mints produced test pieces, pattern designs, alloy experiments, and transitional mules, many of which were supposed to be destroyed. But history has taught us that destruction orders aren't perfect. Sometimes a single experimental piece survives. Sometimes something that was never meant for circulation escapes the mint. And sometimes a coin that was only intended for internal testing becomes the rarest version of a country's final currency series. Why do some coins reach the million-dollar mark? There are three major reasons. The first is singularity. When a coin becomes the only example known to exist, it instantly becomes a trophy piece. Unique coins from various eras have sold for millions, even though they were struck in cheap metals, simply because they were alone in the world. The second reason is impossible mint errors. These aren't minor flaws. They are extraordinary mistakes like wrong nation blanks, mismatched dies from two different coin families, or double country mules. These errors are so strange that even mint officials struggle to explain how they happened. Coins with such errors can reach 6 or 7 figures because they represent moments where the mint failed in a spectacular way. The third reason is historical transition. When a country changes currency, like Spain did when shifting to the euro, the final era of the old currency becomes iconic. Prototypes and unreleased designs from that transitional period hold a special place in collectors' hearts. If a prototype survives, especially a documented one, it can become a high-profile auction item. Your 1999 100 pesetas coin belongs to the last phase before Spain fully adopted the euro. The design includes the portrait of the king and the Madrid mint mark, and millions were struck. A normal example is extremely common. Most of these coins today sell for around 50 cents to $3, depending on condition. And that is the honest, straightforward truth. But experts study this coin closely because experimental versions of this exact denomination were produced during Spain's currency shift. Some were prototypes for euro compatibility. Some tested new alloys. Some were transitional mules pairing pesetas designs with early euro dies. These versions were never intended for circulation, and most were destroyed. But wherever one survives, that survivor becomes a treasure. So what actually makes a 100 pesetas coin valuable? The first major factor is off-metal striking. If your coin was struck on the wrong blank, like on an early euro test planche or a foreign planche, it would immediately enter the high-value zone. These errors can range from a few $1,000s to tens of thousands, depending on rarity. The second factor is a mule. A mule is when a mismatched pair of dies is accidentally used together, like a euro side die accidentally paired with a pesetas side die. Mules have sold for incredibly high prices because they represent mint combinations that were never supposed to exist. A verified 100 pesetas mule could realistically reach tens or hundreds of thousands. The final and most dramatic category is pattern or prototype strikes. These are coins made before final designs were approved. They may use different artwork, metals, inscriptions, or edges. They were meant only for internal review. If even one survives, its value can skyrocket, especially if it comes from the Euro transition period. These ultra-rare pieces are the ones capable of reaching million-dollar territory. If a $1,000,000 100 pesetas coin existed, what would it look like? It would not resemble normal circulation coins. It would likely have an unusual surface, different metal tone, missing inscriptions, or an unfamiliar combination of designs. It might have a pesetas reverse and a euro prototype obverse. It might have no date, or an experimental date style. It would come directly from mint archives, private collections of former mint employees, or historical exhibitions. Its condition would be perfect, museum grade, untouched by circulation, and it would come with records proving it was an official test or prototype. That kind of coin would be immediately recognizable as unusual, even to a beginner. Even though your coin is almost certainly a regular piece, it's still worth checking a few details. Look at the weight and feel. An off-metal strike will feel different. Check the alignment. Major rotations can increase value. Inspect the edges for unexpected smoothness or unusual lettering. Compare the date and design to known official patterns. If they don't match, you may have something interesting. Check for dramatic errors like double strikes or off-center impressions. In very rare cases, unusual combinations can add genuine value. Even if your coin isn't financially rare, it still matters historically. It represents the final era of the peseta, the last breath of Spain's national currency before the euro changed everything. Collectors often keep such coins simply because they tell a story of transition, culture, and the end of a monetary identity that lasted generations. But be careful. Online markets are full of misinformation. Many sellers call common pesetas coins super rare just to attract attention. Some show fake screenshots of non-existent sales. Others mislabel ordinary coins as mint errors. That's why it's important to trust only certified grading companies, reputable auction houses, and documented mint information. The real world of coin collecting is based on evidence, not hype. So here is the honest summary. Your regular 1999 100 pesetas coin is worth around 50 cents to $3. A rare error version could reach hundreds or thousands. A true mule or transitional piece could reach tens or even hundreds of thousands. And in extremely exceptional cases, a unique prototype tied to Spain's Euro transition could enter the $1,000,000 range. That's how you understand value without hype, without exaggeration, and without misleading claims, just pure, accurate numismatic truth.